All right, grab a putter or a mid-range disc, something stable, and we're gonna work on 4 steps that are guaranteed to help you if you're having trouble throwing a flat, straight shot. Flat and straight improves distance. So there's a huge misconception that most of the work done on a throw is in the arm, and that's absolutely not true. If you even look at some of these pro disc golfers, they're thin, they're lanky, they're probably not really that strong, but they're athletic and they have great form. I firmly believe that beginners should start in a braced position and throw standing still before they learn how to do a next step. So we're gonna go through that really quickly here. So before we start with the 4 steps, there are 4 constants that need to happen throughout this entire process to get this right. So the first one is that your arm is always going to be straight throughout the throw, okay? What I mean by that is it is parallel with the ground throughout the throw. The second is that the disc is also parallel to the ground throughout the throw. The third thing is that you're standing up straight throughout the throw, meaning you're not leaning back, which is not many people do that, but a lot of people do this, they lean forward. What does leaning forward do? Well, it changes the angle of the disc on the release. And the fourth constant, and probably the most important, is keeping your shoulders, chest, and hips in alignment throughout the process. So anywhere your hips turn, your shoulders turn. That's really all you need to know. So throughout the throw, your hips and your shoulders are all in alignment. If you try to throw without turning your body, you'll feel a noticeable lack of power versus turning your body and throwing with your body, not against your body. So step 1 is brace, okay? I want you to stand with your feet just a little bit outside of your shoulders. That's going to give you a nice firm platform. Next, you're going to have your toes lined up with whatever your target is. Now, your target may not be the basket, it may be right of the basket because you need the disc to fade or whatever, but wherever you want to throw the disc, you need to line your left and your right foot directly up with that basket. So that's step 1. Brace yourself. Make sure your feet are lined up directly with where you're aiming. One last thing to mention about step 1, when you're pointing your feet at your target, you really don't need to look at your target anymore throughout the process. Keep your head on your disc, because if you keep your head turned looking at the target, you're not going to be able to rotate your shoulders and your hips as much. It's really difficult. You're fighting your body. So once you line that shot up, forget about looking at your target. You already have it locked in. So step 2 is the pullback. Okay? It looks a little bit something like this. That's it. What you're going to do for the pullback is you are going to turn your body whatever direction. For me, it's left. My shoulders and my hips are in alignment. My arm is reached out as far as possible. My arm is also parallel with the ground, so is the disc. And I am preparing for step 3. But notice, shoulders, hips, all in alignment, arm, flat or parallel, disc, parallel, okay? It's also, the arm's not down here, the arm's not down here, it is right in alignment with my shoulders. Step 3 is called the power pocket. So you start from step 2, which is the reach back, or the pullback. You move forward and create a 90-degree angle with your arm, again, parallel disc, parallel arm. Your hips and your shoulders are now back to their original position before we started. The disc should be relatively close to your chest. What you want to avoid is something called rounding. And rounding is something like this, where you actually bring the disc out almost like on an arc. Remember, you want to keep the disc straight through. So when you move from step 2 to step 3, there should be a straight line, not an arc. It's almost like an assembly line. You're moving the disc down. I also want you to imagine, if it helps, because it's a very common thing for somebody to want to dip when they throw, which causes the disc to fly up. Imagine you have something below you that you just don't want to have any contact with, like a stove. That actually helped me when I started. Imagine there's a stove. You want to avoid that stove at all costs, or you're going to burn yourself. So that's keeping everything parallel on the same plane as the ground throughout. Okay, so step 1, legs apart, body straight. Step 2, you're reaching back. Everything's still parallel with the ground. Step 3, the power pocket. You're creating that nice rectangular power pocket here. 90-degree angle at the elbow. And then step 4 is the actual throw, okay? So the throw, you're coming through the power pocket and you are turning your shoulders and your hips along with pulling through on your arm. And if you do all that right at the same time, you're naturally going to do it. It's more of a natural movement. It's more fluid. If you're fighting your body, you're probably doing something wrong, okay? So the way it will look is step 2, step 3, and then step 4 is your turning. So if you actually, throughout step 2 through 4, if you watch your body is actually, and your hips are turning all the way through. And that's what creates the power. It's not your arm. It's your hips in combination with your arm and your shoulders to throw it through. At the end of step 4, your wrist is going to snap like this. It's going to turn, and you're going to release at about 10 o'clock. And that's a natural release point, so I don't think that that's anything you really need to think about. All you need to think about is pointing yourself in the right direction, extending all the way back, and also moving your hips and your shoulders at the same time. Coming into the power pocket at a parallel line, and then releasing flat. And using your momentum and follow through to get the disc out as far as possible. So let's do that one more time. We'll do a nice standing still throw. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, and all together. And it's gone. That was pretty much on point too. Practice those 4 steps. Remember to keep your arm parallel to the ground. Remember to move your hips and your shoulders at the exact same time, 180 degrees with the disc, and create that power pocket to really get the maximum amount of power out of your arm. But remember, it's not so much your arm as it is moving your body with your arm and not fighting your body. Then after you get that down, that's when you want to start working your legs into things, and you want to start trying to do a run up, because the most important thing is you get your hips, shoulders, and arm all in sync with each other. All right, guys, thanks for jumping in and giving a few minutes of your time. I hope it's going to help your game and it's going to help your form. Remember, with form, it's a strange thing. Everyone throws a little different, and there isn't one exact right way for everybody. So you may need to tailor this just a little bit to what works for you. Leave a comment. Tell me what helped you, what didn't help you. Once again, thanks for checking out Ready, Set, Go. Have a great day. Yuta.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I worked hard on this.